This podcast was produced by OAR FM Dunedin with support from New Zealand On the Air.
Welcome to What's News Dunedin, brought to you by Casa Valencia, the radio show that spawned from the 23,000 plus strong local Otipoti Dunedin What's News Dunedin Facebook group. The group that's been putting the social back into social media since 2020 with respect for adult debate and a sense of humour. I'm your host Richard Knights. On today's show we're talking to the wonderful guest Shalane Hopkins, author of One Step at a Time, who'll be telling us a bit more about themselves and what they do, as well as helping us look back at the posts that generated the most interactions over the past 7 days on the What's News Dunedin Facebook group. Those posts this week are Brian Tamaki having his gun licence revoked and his guns removed by the police. Armed police making a number of arrests in Dunedin this last week. And the Auditor General's scathing criticism of the current school lunch programme. Welcome to the show, Shalane.
Thanks for having me.
Before we get started on that, I don't know, are you a member of the What's News Dunedin Facebook group or not?
No.
You don't have to be. That's not a requirement to be on the show, I promise.
I've just recently become a member, but having just recently moved to Dunedin, it's kind of still new and getting to learn what's going on in Dunedin.
Where's the accent from?
Canada.
Canada?
Yeah.
Canada. Lots of fun stuff going on in Canada at the moment.
Oh, always.
Well,
always.
And there's some football going on. They call it soccer over here, but it's football.
Yeah.
The World Cup.
Well, they call it soccer there too.
It's very strange.
Yeah.
It's got a name. It's got a name. It's football. Anyway, we digress. But if you're on the group, what we do is we have a Punday Monday post, right? So I invite everyone on a Monday to bring their best dad jokes. And then whoever gets the most laugh reacts for the jokes that they bring gets their joke brought on the show on a Friday. So,
Perfect.
and that's how we introduce the show. So hopefully the joke transcends the written word into the spoken word, but we'll see. Judging by the fact whether you laugh, smile, groan, or otherwise, or no reaction. Okay. So there's no pressure on you.
Okay.
But the person whose joke it is might be sort of sitting there going a little bit nervy.
All right.
Anyway, so pun of the week this week. What do you get when you cross the Atlantic with the Titanic?
I don't know.
About halfway.
Okay.
I like that joke. You know, it's like one of those ones like, what do you get if you cross a kangaroo and a sheep, like Woody Jumper, right? But it's not, because it's actually, you just only get about halfway.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that worked. Whoever's joke that was, I can't remember whose joke that was.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, exactly. We enjoyed that one. There you go. Now, we also do 3 pop questions. So these are the questions that I've invented personally myself with my wife to get under the skin of my guests, right?
Okay.
So these are deep soul-searching questions that, find their way to the heart of the person. So there's no pressure on these. No pressure on these. Yeah. They're not like that at all, but it's just a bit of fun. So the first question, cream teas. So cream tea where you have a scone and you have jam and you have cream. Okay. What goes on first, the jam or the cream? For
me, I put the jam.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Good answer. It's the scientific answer. It's the correct answer. It's the only question on my show that you can ever get wrong. So, and you've passed with flying colours. So, you can settle back in your chair now and kind of go, it's all easy from this point forward. There's some strange people out there that put the cream on first and then dollop jam on top.
To me, that seems a bit messy, but
and to me too.
I
mean, to be fair, I get messy when I'm eating like with the jam and the cream, and it's just all over the place. Yeah. But that's still messy. But it's like at least I can get an even smear of jam, and then as much cream as I can possibly manage, piled as hard as I possibly can, and it's done that way. So fantastic. So anyway, so that's the only question you can get wrong, but you didn't get it wrong, so we are good. Now,
all right, 1 point.
1 point for you. Second question. This one's automatically got you a point because there's no wrong answers. Who is your favourite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle?
Oh, that's a good question. I haven't seen the show for ages.
All Renaissance painters.
I'm just going to go with the only one that comes to mind, and that's Donatello.
Donatello.
Yeah.
Donnie's as good a guess as any.
Can't go wrong.
So Raphael, Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo.
That's right. Yeah,
and then Master Splinter, the big, scary, huge, 8 foot tall rat.
Yeah.
I'm musophobic. I'm not rats, mice. Yeah. My biggest fear. Yeah. So a giant 6 foot, 8 foot tall. I've had nightmares about stuff like that.
Fair enough.
Genuinely.
Fair enough.
Anyway, moving on from the mice. The third is a thinker, right? So we're here to think about this next one. Would you rather show your friends every photo in your phone or read out loud every text you've sent this week?
Oh. That's I think probably the photos are a little bit more entertaining, so I'll go with that one.
You're going to go with the photos?
Yeah.
See, I'm doing it the opposite way around because the photos will be least entertaining on my phone because I literally take photos of my food and that's about it. Yeah. So and normally like screenshot like receipts like for like to send to my accountant. Yeah. That's it. That's literally that's the sum total of the photos in my phone.
You're living life.
I know, wild. Whereas text might be a little bit more, on the edge. So I'll just go with
keep those quiet.
I'll go with the photos too. Awesome. That's the tough part of the show out of the way.
Cool.
So. Now I'm going to go back and talk about the news of the week. And, of course, as I'm doing that, I've got a frog in my throat, so I'm going to get away from the mic and give a little bit one of those. Brian Tamaki has had his house raided in the last 7 days. Made a few comments on social media about, I think it was Sikhs, Hindus, Muslims, and then kind of got a little bit upset when police turned up. Most of his comments seemed to kind of incite violence at some level, and then seemed to be upset when people turned up and went, we're not sure you should have guns. So, yeah, and there's been a bit of noise around that because obviously Brian thinks he's speaking from a corner of Christian faith and God, and I don't know how you feel about that. I'm a Roman Catholic, non-practicing, but I don't think my God, even when I was believing in him, would probably like Brian. Sorry, Brian. But it's the whole thing about fit and proper person for owning weapons. And my personal view is if you've kind of displayed a propensity to incite angry people, that you probably aren't a fit and proper person to own not just one gun. It looked like he had quite an arsenal of guns. To be taken away from him. So he's had his firearms license revoked, and he's had his firearms taken away. Good or bad? Do you think that's a good thing, bad thing, or?
I think it's one of those situations where if you're in a position where you're saying or doing things that are looking as though they're going to be violent or they are violent, then the police have every right to review your license and go, actually, you've crossed the line here, and we need to rethink whether you should have a license. And that's something that happens here. It happens in Canada as well with their legalities around guns. And
what is the rules in Canada? Because is it the same? Because obviously we all know about America, whereas literally you have a right to
bear arms,
and some of the most violent things that you kind of happen in the world happen there, like this, mass shootings and stuff like that. I don't know if Canada's different though, isn't it? Yeah,
growing up in Canada, I do remember it being quite strict for guns. My family was never one that wanted to have guns, so we didn't go through that process. And I haven't been there for so long, so I can't speak specifically on the laws now. But generally speaking, overall in Canada, it is similar to here where you have to go through a legal process to get your license to bear arms, and it has to be for a specific purpose, not just let's tuck one under the pillow.
Right.
Yeah. And but what that looks like, to date, not sure because I haven't been there for so long.
Not fair enough.
And I think it's good to have some sort of regulation around weapons.
Agreed.
What that looks like specifically, I'm no expert on that.
Neither am I.
I'll leave that up to the police.
Yeah, so my background is similar. Not a family that ever had guns, and in the UK, very similar. Like most people wouldn't even think there's probably more guns here than what in the UK because only. I remember shooting a gun when I was a shotgun when I was a kid because I used to work on a farm and they had shotguns for like pest control, but it was there was a reason for it. Obviously licensed, but most people outside of farm life wouldn't even have considered it. Whereas hunting's quite a thing here. Whereas obviously in the UK, I don't know if hunting's probably quite a thing in Canada. I would have thought
it is. It just depends on where you live. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I guess it depends on the nature of the nature outside you as well. Like there's not a lot of places in the UK where you can kind of go around and sort of freely fire a gun because it's so bloody condensed. So there's so many people in such a small space, right? 70 million people plus in a space that's smaller than where we live right now, right? We've only got 5 million. So you've got some good outside space in New Zealand, so I can understand the hunting side of aspect of things. But I think it's a good thing. I think it's good that they have clearly shown that there is a standard, ultimately. And then I think it's very difficult to kind of, when someone is as publicly vocal as our friend Brian, it's such a sort of way. It seems like a weird name for someone that's so outwardly. It seems like it's like an average name for someone that's so outwardly aggressive and kind of like opinionated. Brian. It's like the life of Brian. It just reminds me of that. It's just because it's just an average show, Anyway, I digress. But it is quite cool that they've kind of gone and said, no, we've looked at it. You've kind of crossed the line, and there are consequences for crossing that line. And it's something I say all the time on What's News Dunedin, because I get it all the time. Freedom of speech. You can't tell me what I can and can't say. And I'm like, freedom of speech does not mean freedom of consequences.
Yes.
And freedom of speech does not mean freedom of platform. And I can quite happily tell you what to say and what not to say. If you break the very simple rules of my group, which would be nice and be factual, and that's quite simple. Be nice to each other, be factual. Don't goad other people, right? That's kind of my three main rules, right? Because that's social media is quite a lot of those three things. If you let it just run away from you. But then I get people going, freedom of speech. I'm like, no, freedom of speech does not mean freedom of consequence. You are allowed to say what you like. Equally, I'm allowed to dislike what you say, and I'm allowed to react or provide consequences based on what you say as well. And Brian's, he's definitely seen what they would call it, FO now, wouldn't they? FAFO, F around, find out, because he's done that, and he's now kind of got seen the other side of it, and it's like, good. I don't think it will change him. No, sadly.
Maybe not. And I think you bring up a good point in comparing that to freedom of speech, where a lot of people will look at these sorts of situations and want to make it into black and white, yes or no argument. And I don't think gun control or freedom of speech is necessarily just all or nothing. I think there is situations like you brought up in rural environments where you do need a weapon like a gun to go hunting. You do need it if you're, say, on a dairy farm and there's a really sick cow that you've got to put down. There's situations where, that's a normal part of life. And I think to just blanket it and go, here's this one person who is saying all these things or doing all these things, so let's just wipe it out for everyone else. I don't think you can just easily sway one way or the other, really.
I like the fact we've got gun control here. I like the fact that it is policed as well, and obviously people are looking at stuff like that, and it's good. It's encouraging to see for me is where I'd probably end that topic, to be completely fair, because it just makes sense that you can kind of trust that if someone else was to do the same thing tomorrow, then they're being looked at through the same lens.
Yeah, I agree.
Fair enough. And we're going to talk about armed police now, because that's the next topic. Because I came out of the show last week. One of the things I do straight after the show, because I'm driven by my stomach, is I go and get the week shopping. And I pitched up at Central Woolworths to get my shopping. Went in, because I've already ordered it. Because if I shop on a full stomach, I just buy 10 times as much, or an empty stomach, should I say, by 10 times as much. Walked out, and it was literally like the police just swarmed into the car park. Oh. And I kind of looked over, and I don't normally pay, and then suddenly realised that they're actually these were the armed defenders squad. They were actually holding the the machine gun type guns, and they were getting someone out of a car. And then there was an article in the paper that wasn't even reported, actually, didn't even make the ODT. But then a couple of stories later on in the week where there'd been again some armed responses to a couple of places in Dunedin where they'd obviously planned to go and arrest someone, and they've either found them or didn't find them, but they've actually, but they've kind of descended, and it just seems, and it just popped into my head that it seems to be that there seems to have been, I don't know if it's just that they're reported more, there just seems to be more of them in the last kind of 3 to 4 weeks than I kind of recall. It's always very sort of like, once in a blue moon kind of thing you'd see, and you kind of, oh yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
But like it just seemed more frequent. I don't know if that's something, whether it's something you may not even notice because you weren't in Woolworths car park last week with me. But that just made me sort of sit there and think. And there's been a couple of notifications as well.
That's interesting. Yeah, to be honest, in my personal life, I haven't noticed much, so I can't really speak on that. But that's interesting. If there seems to be an increase or a bit of a cluster of
yeah, I guess the thing is we could go 6 months now without another fingers crossed.
Yeah.
We do. I mean, I guess the question for me, which comes on from the previous topic, is how do we feel about our police having guns? Because I'm assuming in Canada they probably do carry guns, the police, or are they like here where it's kind of depending on circumstance.
I think it's dependent on circumstances.
I mean, I like that more than just every cop. Carrying a weapon. I mean, I know they've got tasers and stuff like that. They need to be able to protect themselves. Totally get that.
Yeah.
And pepper spray and all that kind of like non-lethal stuff. But I do like that it's not the norm.
Yeah, I think for me, like cops carrying guns or not guns, that's not so much the question as to how are they qualified to carry the guns. Like, is it the guy that just graduated from cop school, whatever you call it? And
I don't know what they call it.
I don't know.
I wonder. Maybe it is called cop school.
What are they doing in the training to get to the point where it's like, yes, you're psychologically able, you're physically able, you know what to do with a gun, those sorts of things. You know how to make those calls. It's hard to say. To me, I just kind of maybe naively assume that cops who carry guns will be very trained on them and know when to use them and not to use them, and that. And
I don't know the answer to that, but I'd like to think the same thing because what we don't want is what we don't want is like an America situation, because that seems to be the worst of all worlds as far as I'm concerned. I'd much rather give you a cuddle than punch you. Like that's my whole thing, right? I'd much rather talk you to death than I mean that nicely than ever use violence in any way, shape or form. I'm not that kind of person. But I do believe people need to be able to protect the public. The police need to be able to protect the public, certainly. Me and my wife were watching a thing yesterday on bloody Netflix because I don't know, women seem to like these kind of like murder, psycho killer type things, and we were watching something on yesterday where neighbours from hell type thing, and the neighbour thought this neighbour was basically harassed this neighbour for months and months and years and years and years, but thought they were being persecuted, so one day just turned up and shot the other two.
Oh, wow.
And you kind of go, and that's the problem with people just having free access to guns, because like that, the person who was actually the person who was doing all the nastiness was the one that then felt aggrieved and then ended up doing even more nastiness, and the lives were lost. One person ends up in prison, and you just kind of go, I don't want to live in a country where that's kind of the
norm.
Yeah. So from that side of things, I much prefer where we sit here.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I think that's, how do you say, like being someone who was born outside of New Zealand, I think my childhood upbringing, you see it from a different perspective. I grew up in Calgary, bigger city, and that sort of thing, where the idea of criminal behavior, I think, was a lot more pronounced than anything I've ever seen in New Zealand. And coming to New Zealand, it was a pleasant surprise. I found it to be, generally speaking, a lot more of a welcoming society where crime was a lot lower, or crime that did occur wasn't near as bad. Whether that's statistically factual, that's something I'm not sure. That's just based on my experience. So I think coming here, like, I don't know, I'd like to think of whether cops need to have guns or not have guns. Like, I think it's, I guess I haven't been at Woolworths in a position where I've seen them approach me that go, is that something that I want in my community or not? Just
there was a poor blind guy actually as well, got caught up in the middle of it, and I really felt for him. There was a guy like just walking through, like, you know, I don't know how partially sighted he was, but he had a stick. He must have wondered what the hell was going on.
Yeah,
because it kind of all kicked off like near them, not. He wasn't right in the middle of it, and he's just kind of going, "That must be scary."
Like,
because there'd have been screaming and yelling going on, like, you know, get out of the car, that kind of stuff. And I kind of thought, like, and I only noticed afterwards, it was like, because I doing what you do, you take a photo and kind of go, that's a bit, you know, everyone was fine.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be quite surreal if you weren't able to see, hey?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I've got a funny feeling I'm going to be coughing all the way through the show, so I do apologise.
That's okay.
It's tickling the back of my throat at the moment.
That time of year.
Yeah, absolutely.
That time of year.
Not the time to have a cough when you're supposed to be talking. Third and final topic. Auditor General has just done a bit of a looky through the free lunch stuff that David Seymour took over for the current government, and not been an A+ kind of result for the government with regards to it. A lot of wastage, a lot of return food. No, food that's been opened and kind of gone, I'm not eating that. And the quality. This is the beauty of radio. And the wonderful staff we've got here, they're going to bring me a glass of water to keep me going, which is fantastic. Thank you very much, Tommy. You are the star of OAR FM, and we love you. They've done this to me before. Like, they go, stop coughing, Rich. Like, we don't want to hear you coughing. So
when you need to, you need to.
Bring me some glass of water. Nice. Now it's my job not to spill that glass of water on this expensive equipment, because if I do that, they would never have me back.
Be in big trouble. Yeah,
I'll be in trouble. Have you followed the school lunch thing?
Only briefly. I've got a son that will be entering school in October, so I'm just starting to kind of tap into what the school system looks like for the little guys. So I've known of the school lunches, but I haven't really stayed on top of like what the program is.
It's there for the people that struggle, right?
Yeah.
Something like 17% of I think I'm right, but something like 17% of kids go without at least one meal a week, and that's kind of bad in the first instance. So that's what it's there for. It's there to look after our most vulnerable. And Labour brought it in, and like they kind of went, it's too expensive. So they come back to it and kind of go, we can do it cheaper than that. We can do it, and the kind of quality is just like gone like through the floor, pretty much. Just David Seymour's baby kind of going, look at me, look how I've saved us $350 million, but at the same time, no one's eating it. So the Auditor General's looked at it and gone, let's have a quick look, see how we're doing after 2 years or whatever it is, and found some quite revealing results. Because at the end of the day, like, I'm not surprised by it. When you take the quality away and the nutrition away, what are you leaving behind?
Exactly.
It's hard enough to get your kids to eat good food.
Yes,
you'll notice, like, as a parent, I'm the same. Like, what are you gonna have? Chips.
Yeah.
Chips with what? Vegetables? Chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
That's not a vegetable.
No, mine has had a bowl of tomato sauce one day. What do you want for lunch? Tomato sauce.
Just tomato sauce.
Yeah, just tomato sauce.
That.
Like, great.
But technically, that's one of their 5 a day, right?
That's what I thought. I was like, well, does it have tomatoes?
I mean, tomatoes are fruit.
Yeah, but it's something. I think it's so hard when you're looking at the people in your community and in society that are in need.
Yeah.
And they just need that little bit of support and that little bit of help. And you're in that position where you will take whatever is given to you because you don't have any other options. And I think it's so hard when you're someone in a position of power where you have an opportunity to support those people in need, and you kind of look at it and question whether they're even doing the bare minimum.
Yeah, I'm the same. If you choose not to do it right, like why are you doing it?
Yeah, and so but I don't know. Like maybe there's other options that money could be going to, but for paying taxpayer money.
Yeah.
Is that where you want your money going, to lunch that's not being eaten, that's not even, maybe nutritionally sound or
you say you're saving me money, but at the same time, it's not saving me money if they're not eating it.
Yeah.
And it's not doing the job that you're claiming that it was supposed to be doing either. So, is that still saving me money? I don't think it is. As a taxpayer, I'd much rather that there were no kids hungry today than I saved you $34 million this year because I did it cheaper.
Yeah. I'd love to be a person around that table that has those discussions with people like that, where you're able to go, okay, what are the other options? Is there some other way we can go about this where maybe you can save money but still meet the need of these people who are going hungry every week, whose children do need that nutrition to be able to concentrate on their maths or whatever it is that we can kind of pull together and help each other out.
Because it's quite scientifically proven that hungry brains do not learn.
Oh, it seems like that should be common sense, really. If you're hungry, it's pretty hard to concentrate on anything else.
Yeah, exactly. And again, you want, if you're spending money on education, which a lot of the taxpayer dollars, go toward, rightly go towards, and not enough, even still, I would suggest. You want that money to be utilised properly, right?
Yeah.
And if you can't learn it because your brain's starved of food, why are we bothering with the education? The whole thing falls apart. And in my mind, I'll always hold this view. If we look after our most vulnerable and build society on the backs of looking after those people, then everything, in my mind, everything above that works.
100%.
If we don't do that, then we're fighting fires like literally the whole time. We're literally putting out fires. We are literally looking and making things worse for the people that we probably need to be protecting the most. That's my take on it. And the older I've got, and the more kids and the more grandkids that I've accumulated through such a wonderful family that I've got, it makes me believe that stronger and stronger and stronger. And I look at people and look at them and see these decisions they're making. I look at them and kind of go, where's your heart? Where's your where we elected you. Forget what party it is. We elected you to represent us and look after us, because we don't get to choose individually, where the next footpath is, where the next road is built, where the next hospital was built. We're counting on you for those services. So we're trusting you to do the right thing by us. And if you're not doing it,
it's frustrating.
Why have we gone to the effort of putting you there?
Yeah.
I think this is half the reason why people don't vote or people don't get involved, because you kind of go, what's the point? It doesn't matter if I want to get that bunch of idiots or this bunch of idiots or the next bunch of idiots. They're not, they're all silly in it for themselves.
Yeah. Well, and to be honest, any politician that's in power is never going to be perfect for everyone. There's always going to be good and bad to any political party that's out there.
I'm with Billy Connolly when he said that anyone that puts up their hand to be in politics should be immediately barred from doing it.
That's probably a good way of putting it.
Yeah, because like Chancellor didn't know from, and I say that as someone who's put my hand up for politics, right? Because I have put my hand up to stand at local council and stuff because I believe I want to help out. So with Billy, apart from when he's talking about me, right? But again, it's just like seems like a sensible thing for Billy to say. Right, we're going to move on and talk about you. This is the important stuff. This is why you're really here. But before we do, we're going to get a word from our wonderful sponsor.
Dunedin, meet your new favourite bakery. Casa Valencia at 53 Musselburgh Rise is serving up freshly baked bread, pastries and gorgeous cakes. And if you haven't tried the ube donut yet, you are seriously missing out. Our signature purple yam donut and purple yam drink are the must-try combos your taste buds have been waiting for. Pair it all with a hot or cold drink, grab a cake for someone special, and make your day a little sweeter. Casa Valencia, 53 Musselburgh Rise, Dunedin. Open Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. See you there.
Do you know of Casa Valencia?
No, I don't. It sounds good.
Oh, they're 3 doors down from where I work.
Oh, that's a bit dangerous.
More than dangerous. It's no surprise that they're sponsors of the show.
Yeah.
Because I'm there every day.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Almost a part of furniture. I get staff lunches.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, exactly. Like stuff that's off menu.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. But I'm normally there just before I come on the show.
Perfect.
Get my early lunch. Come here, talk about how wonderful the food is.
Making me hungry already.
Filipino bakery, they do empanadas, donuts. They just do
nice.
some fantastic stuff.
Like a good empanada.
Yeah, they do good there.
Yeah.
And they do this thing called a sig pie, which is a spicy pork mince pie. And it's the best pie I've ever eaten. If you like spicy, it's not like crazy spicy. I love spicy.
I do too.
Then it's like $8 or something. It's not even soup. It's a big it's lunch.
Nice.
And it's just gorgeous.
Oh, I might have to try that. That sounds real good. Mm-hmm.
Musselburgh Rise. Drive out the bottom of Handy Bay Road, past the BP. Just keep going, do the little wiggle, and it's there on the left-hand side.
Cool. All right, good to know.
Get down there. Now, Shalane Hopkins, you came to my attention. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. I think someone, when I was asking for guests, they said, "Oh, you need to talk to Shalane."
Yeah, a friend of mine.
Friend of yours.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Good friend?
Recently met, but yes, yeah. No, we both doing our business have kind of connected and then kind of feedback off each other, which is great.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So, I have done no research into you whatsoever. This is my research. So we do this live on air.
Exciting.
So what I'd like from you is the 5 minutes Cliff Notes version of Shalane Hopkins and how where you got from start to here. Give me 5 minutes. All yours.
Cool. All right. Well, yeah, as you know, I born in Canada.
Yep.
And then in it would have been 2009, I decided to leave Canada. And on my way out the door, thought that the best way to appreciate Canada as I left was to walk across British Columbia. So I did 1,000 kilometers solo, 7 weeks, and walked across British Columbia to kind of say goodbye to Canada.
On your own?
On my own. In my mind, I thought hitching was too dangerous, so I thought, well, why not walk?
So just do it.
So as you do.
As I've never done, but
exactly.
You have. Yeah.
But I have. And amazing adventure. And I thought, well, that's probably the last that I'll do anything like that. And then traveled my way to Australia. And as I was backpacking through there, started to hear about New Zealand and thought, oh, that sounds quite cool. I might like to actually do another long distance walk. And that's when I learned of Te Aroha. And at that point, it had not opened yet. It was still being completed. And the rest was history, really. I kind of was like, that's what I need to do. That's how I need to see New Zealand. And so I walked from Cape Reinga down to Bluff in the season of 2010, 2011, just before it opened. And I was with another backpacking friend. And we did that. And by the time I was finished, I absolutely fell in love with New Zealand and then decided to stay. So I've been here ever since. So I'm here today because I have just recently published my book on that whole adventure and what that was like walking Te Aroha before it opened, and kind of now how I'm using that story to then help other people with their own goals and living their life as big as they can and all of that. So that's me.
The front cover of the book, because you brought me a copy, which I'm very, very thankful for.
You're welcome.
I'm very, very. I feel very, very humbled by. Thank you. Says 3,000 kilometres of grit, growth, and grace on Te Aroha, one step at a time. What kind of mad woman, walks 3,000 kilometres? I struggle to get my 10,000 steps in a day. Yeah. Some days I do. Yeah. I mean, some weeks if I'm outdoor knocking and stuff, I'll end up walking maybe 20 kilometres. But I've got to do a lot of 20 kilometres before I'm anywhere near your 3,000.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's
What was that? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut across you.
That's okay.
What was the moment? Was there like a kind of like a light bulb moment where you kind of went, tell you what, I've got an idea. Yeah,
it was. Sorry, I'll backtrack. I was in Sydney, working in and kind of looking at what I wanted to do to travel. My goal in leaving Canada was to do a one-way ticket, travel the world, see everything I could. And when I was kind of researching what my plans were from Australia onwards and learning more about New Zealand, because I didn't know a lot about it beforehand, I started hearing about all the wilderness that New Zealand has to offer, and the fact that there's no bears and no other wild animals out to eat you sounded really appealing.
It does sound appealing not getting eaten, doesn't it?
Yeah,
genuinely.
it really does.
Because I guess in Canada, You do have, there is the risk.
Yes.
Yes. I don't know what, it was British Columbia that you walked
British
across.
Columbia, so Rocky Mountains.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, so we're talking some fairly rough terrain. Mm-hmm. There's wolves, there's bears. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's the occasional moose, I'm guessing.
Bobcats. Yeah.
How many things can kill you in Canada?
Not as many as Australia, I like to think.
No, there's almost everything. Almost everything in
pretty much.
The only thing that can't kill you on a walk in Australia is a shark.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah. But if you go near water, then you got to add that into the mix too.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. So the idea of coming to New Zealand and being able to enjoy the wilderness without having that sounded amazing to me. And so I kind of researched longer walks, and you stumble across the great walks of New Zealand immediately. And for me, I always knew I didn't really like that as much because in my mind they were a little bit more touristy, and I liked the idea of being.
Were they too easy for you?
Not too easy physically, just more that there were so many people walking it. And for me, the idea of being in the wilderness, I enjoyed the idea of feeling like I was exploring and that I was more connecting with nature without lots of people passing me on the trail or having to fight someone for a camp spot at the end of the day, that sort of idea. And so I was like, no, I'm not going to do the great walks. And then I read about an American man, actually, that had years ago walked the length of New Zealand. And this was before Te Araroa came to be. And as soon as I heard that, walking the length of the country, I was like, that sounds amazing to get to the end of that and go, I've seen so much, but also that I've done this thing that not many people have done. And when I did a little bit more researching, that's when I came across the Te Araroa Trust, and they were in the process of still finishing the trail. And I was like, wow, they're actually creating this trail.
So maybe, again, for someone that struggles to walk to the bathroom and then walks back and things, that's a bloody long way. I'm not lazy.
Yeah.
No, I am actually. No, genuinely, I am. I'm lazy. I don't mind walking. Once I start walking, I'm quite good at it. Like just that one foot in front of the other thing. I don't. It doesn't bother me. But it's just like the thought of doing it. It's like, can I get a car? Anyway, I've got an EV, so I'm not burning fossil fuel at least. For people like myself who genuinely don't actually know, I know of the Great Walks, right? So like the Milford Track and Abel Tasman, and I know some of those, and I couldn't name all of them by like a long way. What is? I'm never going to say it right. Te Araroa.
Te Araroa.
Yeah. What is that? So for anyone listening who's as equally as ignorant as me.
Yeah, that's all good. So it's New Zealand's longest trail. It goes from Cape Rang in the far north all the way down to Bluff. And a guy by the name of Jeff Chappell, a New Zealander, he was the one that thought of the idea of creating one of these great walks that goes the whole length of the country. And for those who aren't aware of long distance walking, there's many of these trails across the world. So you might have heard like the Pacific Crest Trail in the States or the Appalachian Trail, and they stretch great far distances, which will take people months and months to complete. And lots of other countries have them as well. And so New Zealand, with Jeff Chappell, decided that this was something that he thought New Zealand should have as well. And so through his preparations of that, he created the Te Araroa Trust. And they started out as a group of volunteers that were committed to this vision of creating New Zealand's long-distance trail from north to south. And it took many years, and I'm sure a lot of blood, sweat, and tears were put into creating it. And in 2011, December 2011, they officially opened it to say that this is the completed trail. And to date, every season, there's thousands of people that come from all over the world, New Zealanders included, that will walk the trail. Some will do parts of it. Some will do the whole thing. Some will go from north to south. And then some will go the other way around, from south to north. So when we walked it the season before it opened. And in comparison, there was maybe about 20 people that walked the entire season of this trail. And so back then, like, no one knew about it. You'd walk past people's houses and they'd be like, what are you doing with a backpack? What are you doing walking past my house? Right. And we'd tell them about this trail, and they had no idea that it even existed. Whereas nowadays there's support groups, there's Facebook groups, there's trail angels, there's a trail registry. You can get discount hut passes for doing the trail. There's quite a big community around it that's been built up over the years.
So is it, again, I'm genuinely showing a huge amount of ignorance when it comes to just getting outside and walking.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, obviously, before that happened, you could, if you wanted to, you could probably find a road to walk that same top to bottom, like right?
Like State Highway 1.
Yeah,
if you wanted to walk that, you could do that.
You could do that, right?
Yeah.
But this is not that, is it? This
No.
This is out. Obviously, sometimes you go past people's houses because you have to, right? Mm-hmm. But this is out in the back of nowhere on your own.
More or less. So New Zealand in the North Island is obviously a little bit more populated, so you'll go through more towns and that sort of thing in more residential areas. And certainly around Auckland, you're walking on the concrete quite a lot. But the Te Aroa Trust, what they've done is essentially mapped a line from north to south, and the parts that they could connect to dock trails, they would. And then there's other areas where they had to get land access and ask for permission. So you might be walking through farmland where they've specifically designed the trail to go through that, and they've got land access. And then there's other parts where they've created like a trail on public land where they've connected the dots, essentially. So it's a wide mix where like a trail that you might walk long distance, and I use the States as an example because I just know that a little bit more well. The Pacific Crest Trail is very, very remote, where you are more or less in the bush the entirety of the trail for months at a time, whereas New Zealand, you might pop out, every day you're out of town, or it might be a week at a time before you're in a town. So there's a lot of variation in the terrain you're walking and the type of environment you're walking in.
How long did it take?
For us, it took 171 days. So it was 5.5 months.
Right.
And that's including, we had days where we rested and we didn't do anything. We had days where we had injuries and we couldn't do anything. And then we had, during that time, we also had the February 2011 earthquake in Christchurch. So for us, we took a break during that time, and we went and we helped out with the recovery effort. So that took a bit of our time in there.
So did you write the book as you were walking, or did you kind of go, right, there's my 1,000 kilometres. Now, while the blisters heal, I'll sit down and write the book? Or was it kind of a bit of a mixture?
For me, one of my gear items was a journal. Journal had to be there. And I knew when I started planning the journey that I wanted to write a book about it, because I knew that this journey would be something that was so personal to me and such a long, it was 5.5 months. So to have that amount of time where you're doing this, I wanted to capture that in a book. And so I journaled the entire time, every single day, writing down kilometers we wrote, kilometers we walked and where we went and what happened and all that. And then it's taken me till now to finally put it together in a format that does the story justice, and to be able to go, okay, here I'm ready to share that properly with everyone. And
I've got a couple of questions. Before we get to those, I want to get another quick word from our wonderful sponsor.
Sure.
Dunedin, meet your new favourite bakery. Casa Valencia at 53 Musselburgh Rise is serving up freshly baked bread, pastries and gorgeous cakes. And if you haven't tried the ube donut yet, you are seriously missing out. Our signature purple yam donut and purple yam drink are the must-try combos your taste buds have been waiting for. Pair it all with a hot or cold drink, grab a cake for someone special, and make your day a little sweeter. Casa Valencia, 53 Musselburgh Rise, Dunedin. Open Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. See you there.
So it's 3,000 kilometres?
Yes.
From the top of New Zealand to the bottom of New Zealand. Did you cheat at the Cook Strait and just sit down and just ride the ferry? Or did you were you walking back and forth up and down the boat? Because that's the one question I think that all my listeners need to have answered.
Yes.
Before they pick up the book and then find out for themselves potentially.
And you'd be surprised at how many people have already asked that.
Damn. And I thought I was bringing something original to the show.
No.
So it turns out I'm just like everyone else. That's fine. Yeah.
The question,
it's not surprising me.
Yeah, no, we took the ferry across the Cook Strait. So there is certain areas of the trail where, like, obviously you just simply physically cannot walk that. So there was that, and there was a couple of rivers where they call them a safety stop and say you go around them. But yeah, outside that, and Stewart Island is not part of the trail, though you're welcome to walk it if you want. And
I still want to get to Stewart Island.
Me too. It would
sounds
be
like
amazing.
a fantastic, amazing place.
Yeah.
I once sold a photocopier to the school on Stewart Island in a previous life.
That's a bit random.
In a previous life, I used to work for Canon.
Oh yeah,
That's my first job here.
Cool.
And I sold photocopiers, and I sold to Half Moon Bay School. I sold them a photocopier, and I said to the guys, because they had a team of Invercargill technicians, I said, obviously I'll just come with you when you install it. They wouldn't let me go.
Oh no.
I know. Well,
that's
it's last
a bit
time
of a bummer.
last time I sold them a photocopier, there was no benefit after
Yeah,
that. Like
yeah.
genuinely,
Yeah.
it's like, okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. So what's the book? I know the book's about you walking the length of New Zealand, but maybe explain what is the book about? It's a story of growth. It's a story obviously about your good self. But if someone's picking up the book, what are you expecting to find when they turn the pages?
Yeah. Well, I think
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I think the big thing with my book is that because we walked it before Taylor Row was open, the journey itself was very, very different than what a lot of people experience today walking it. So it's one of those things where, like, how do you say, people nowadays when they do long distance walking have a lot more technology than what we did when we walked. So things like GPS or PLBs or getting satellite phones, or even people that will walk and have drones flying over them so they can capture the beautiful scenery and what they're doing. That's all normal. People will charge.
That's the Instagram way to do it, isn't it?
Yeah, they'll have their solar panels on their backpack and then charge their cell phones and be chatting to friends at the end of the day. And we didn't have any of that. So we were on a backpacker budget. So we had compass and map, for one, and then like our emergency thing was having a non-smartphone phone that we just tucked away in our backpack, and that was it. So it was very, very low key as far as technology. And then because the trail wasn't open, we also we faced a different set of challenges than what people do today. So things like signage on the trail. You'd hit spots where they hadn't quite finished it, or maybe there was miscommunication because the trail had shifted slightly. So you're having to kind of navigate your way a little bit differently than now where it's a lot more established. And they didn't have the support network that they do today. So like things like food drops where you'd have places where you mail maybe a box of extra food that you could go and pick up. We had to organize all of that stuff, whereas nowadays they kind of have set people that are putting up their hand to say, hey, you can mail stuff to our house, or come over to a cup of tea at the end of the day, or anything like that.
And for someone who's so food driven,
yes,
I hadn't even thought of that. Like genuinely, like, because you're not taking like 7 months of supplies on your back, are you? You're not dragging that behind you. It hadn't even. See, that's why I'm not allowed to go out walking. You see, like I'd be a liability to myself and everyone around me. So I say that's a huge amount of planning. Like genuinely, kind of going, well, if I'm going to get from there to there by that day, I need to make sure that I've got provisions available.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
What was harder, walking or writing?
Oh, walking. Yeah.
Walking's harder.
Definitely walking. So that's the other part. My style of writing, I really wanted to delve into not just the physicality of what we did each day, but the emotional side of it as well. So for doing something like this, for walking 3,000 kilometers, or if you're doing any sort of goal where you're trying to achieve something that's outside of your realm of normal existence, you hit that period where your brain just kind of goes, I don't want to do this anymore. Why am I doing this? And you start to question everything about it. And I really wanted to capture that in my book and my writing to kind of show that process of how I was having those days where you're just battling your brain of not wanting to keep going, but then knowing that if you give up, you're going to regret it. And so you're kind of going back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth, all the while you're still taking your steps forward of what you're doing. And I think that is so paralleled to any other goal that we have in our life, whether you're going to school or whether you're training for a marathon or maybe even moving house to a new city where you have to start all over with making new relationships and all that sort of stuff. That as a human, we have this tendency to go, ooh, this is uncomfortable, let's quit. And I think when we have goals out there that we know we're meant to do, it's so important to recognize that it's okay to sit in that discomfort and it's okay to have those mental battles with yourself. But if you keep taking one step at a time, you'll get there in the end.
So you walked 3,000 kilometres,
yes,
top to bottom. You'd already walked across British Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
How many kilometres was that?
About 1,000.
But that's just a stroll, wasn't it?
Yeah,
exactly. That
no
was
big deal.
Barely worth mentioning, to be fair, right?
Yes.
So it was just 1,000 How far did you walk across Australia?
Australia, I didn't. So Australia, I came there in my mind thinking that was the place I wanted to be. I wanted to live on the beach and call it a day. But I was there as a backpacker, and so I traveled around by like camper van and that sort of thing, and made friends and saw lots of cool different things, but never really felt like sticking around. I think it was
or walking, because it's dangerous out there. Like, and they got bloody spiders, and they got snakes, and crocodiles.
Yep.
Those bloody Tasmanian devil things.
Few
like
things.
Wolverine. I just got. Yeah.
And I think it's different if you grow up in that.
Yeah.
If you grow up in that, then you're kind of used to it. And it's no different than me in Canada. I grew up knowing about bears and kind of how to handle them in the wild and that sort of thing. Not that I'm an expert at it, but just I was aware of it. So it didn't seem like as big of a deal. So maybe if you grew up in Australia, things like the big spiders and snakes and all that wouldn't bug you so much.
They got big spiders in Canada?
Not like Australia, no.
Not snakes?
Not that I can...
No, because they got them in America, right?
It's too cold.
It's too cold, yeah.
It's
just, to me, like doing all that in Australia, it's just like, just like someone planted you in the middle of hell and you just kind of gone. Anyway, work it out. So, what's next? Like, obviously, like you've walked the length. I mean, like, do you find like if you walk out of the house, like you just kind of going right, and like 4 days, and I'll come back. I'll turn around at the end of 4 days, and I'll come back again. Or are you looking for the next challenge?
Yeah, well, the next challenge for me is using this story. So, sorry, I'll backtrack. I had two thoughts at the same time. But right now, I've just started to use my book in publishing it to build a community where I can help other people with their goals or with the process of exiting that phase of their life where maybe they're a people pleaser or they've been living smaller than what they know they could be, and kind of using the lessons that I had in Tetaroa to support them with that and coach them through that. For myself, it's taken me 15 years to write this book properly in the way that it is, just because I finished that journey and then I kind of tucked it away and wanted to pretend it wasn't there because it was so outside the norm of what other people had done in my life that I felt like I had to shrink back to normality,
right? If
that makes sense. And so I spent quite a few years kind of ignoring that part of myself and not really being ashamed of it, but just kind of making it a little bit smaller so it didn't make other people uncomfortable.
Because it's not the kind of thing you can talk about with everyone, is it? It's like, I mean, I can go out and say like, yeah, I went for dinner last week and I did that.
Yeah.
There's not many people you can walk around and go, remember that 3,000k walk, 3,000 kilometre walk that we did?
Yeah.
And everyone goes, yeah, it was one of the, it was like, would you remember? Yeah. And that bloody hill, it's different, isn't it? But I get what you're saying. Like, you kind of go like, who do I share this with?
Exactly. And so I kind of just shrunk myself and was like, oh, it's not a big deal. That was in my past, and tried to be a normal person doing all the things I should be doing. And it's just been in the last couple of years that I woke up and I kind of realized, you know what, my life isn't looking the way I want it to look. And I'm a person that's so busy people pleasing that I don't have any boundaries anymore. I don't even recognize myself in the mirror. And I need to change. I need to change for myself, and I also need to change for my son. And so I kind of had that wake-up call just over a year ago, and kind of shifted everything in my life since then, and realized that everything that I've learned in doing that and doing Te Roa and being a people pleaser and coming out of that, and the skill sets that I have, has all led me to this point where now I can help other people, and now I can share my story, and now I can share those lessons, and now I can kind of help other people find that spark within themselves where they go, you know what, this is why I'm here. This is my purpose, and this is who I am, and I don't have to dim that light for anyone else.
I told you we're going to run out of time. We've run out of time.
Yes.
Very quickly, where can people find your book?
So you can find it on my website, but here in Dunedin, you can find it at the University Bookshop, or if you're out in Balclutha, you can find it at their bookshop there as well.
Fantastic. Shalane, thank you very much for coming on the show.
No
What an inspiration. Just sit there while I round out the show. Thank you. Well, that's a wrap for this week. Thank you for tuning in. I've been Richard Knights, and you've all been wonderful. Remember, if you're looking for robust, respectful adult debate about all things local and further afield, and a welcoming online community doesn't take itself too seriously, come and find What's News Dunedin on Facebook and join our fun. On next week's show, we're talking to Jen Wilson from the PSA, and look forward to seeing you next Friday at 12 on OAR FM. And if you want to listen to the show again, or simply share it with your friends, you can find the podcast at oar.org.nz, or even on Spotify, YouTube, or your favourite podcast provider.
This podcast was produced by OAR FM Dunedin with support from New Zealand On the Air.